Hey everybody, welcome to Hall's Homestead. I just wanted to come talk to you guys for a second. I just got through feeding my chickens here, and it made me sort of thinking. I just introduced about 5 new hens to the flock, and what time better than now to talk about the pecking order. Here's a rooster right there. I had to separate him for a time being. What better time to talk about the pecking order? You've heard pecking order. You heard it in everyday conversation. You heard it. People talk about, oh, there's a pecking order at the job site or just whatever. Well, it is a real thing. But in my experience, it's more or less not a pecking order as in hen, you know, like a hierarchy. It goes top hen, bottom hen. From my experience, it's been the hens that were already in the coop. So the blonde hen right here, she's Buff Orpington, and then the ice brown hen beside her. Well, she might be mixed with something else, but she's close enough to an ice brown. She's a mutt. Anyway, the two bigger chickens, they are the older chickens have been in the coop longer. So they're the ones that sort of pick on the younger hens, and people always want to know, what do you do about that? How do you stop it? How do you reduce the risk of, you know, bad things happening? Well, first thing you want to do, the very first thing you want to do is make sure before you move your hens to the flock, make sure that they're roughly the same size as your other hens now that are already here in the coop. Now, before I say that, or before I go any further, yes, the hens I have here, some of the younger ones, they are a little bit smaller than the older hens, the bigger hens that's already been there. Well, the reason is because I only had 2 older hens that were bigger. I'm going to side here. I only had 2 older hens that were any bigger because there are so many more of the younger or smaller chickens, this little group right here, compared to the older chickens. They weren't as big, not quite, especially little Featherfoot here. There's feathers on his feet, and he's real little. He's the smallest of the bunch. But because they had each other, I knew that they would be okay when it comes to these 2 right here. So if you're moving about 5 chickens, 4 or 5 chickens, multiple chickens into your flock, moving them in, a lot of times it'll be okay to go ahead and move them in at this size. But also keep in mind, chickens are escape artists. When they're smaller, they have a better chance of escaping. They will get out of the coop if they can find a way to get out. Believe me, I've lost so many chickens by them just leaving the coop. So yeah, the older hens, or the hens that are bigger and have been in here longer, they will pick on the younger hens to an extent. But that extent is lessened by the fact that there are so many more little chickens that are moving in, and they have each other. You know, typically, yeah, they'll play with each other a little bit. They'll peck at each other. Maybe 1 or 2 of them in that little group you're moving in, maybe 1 or 2 of them don't get along. But for the most part, they all will huddle up with each other. They'll be around each other, and they'll have each other, so they won't get beat up so bad. Because if you throw one little baby hen in here, or baby, you know, pullet, steal a pullet, a small, not fully grown hen in here with a bunch of full-grown hens, they'll peck that poor little thing to death. You'll be missing feathers all down its back. You don't want that to happen. So the best way to avoid that is, well, a few ways to avoid that. Move in several chickens, several pullets or older chickens at a time. Let them get to a good get to a good size. Make sure they're real similar size to the hens you have in the coop already. And just watch them. Keep an eye on them. Maintain the order. Make sure you have some sort of roof. Like this here is deer netting I have. It's not a roof per se. Nothing can really get on it, but it helps keep the chickens in, and it helps keep hawks out. Look into deer netting. I might put that in the description below on Amazon. Look into it. It's good stuff. I use it. It's great to have for chickens. A couple ways I can tell you in the future in the comments or something about deer netting. But anyway, when you move new chickens to the flock, to the existing flock, they might get bullied so much. They might get the pecking order. They might get pecked at so much that they want to fly up. That happened to me one time, and I lost to 2 hens, two smaller hens because they flew up and they flew over my thing. So if I didn't have a roof, you see that would be where that would be a problem, because it happened to me. You know, they flew over. So make sure you have something. And deer netting works perfect for me. You may not like it. You may find something better. More power to you. This is a good, cost efficient roof. Like I said, never had hawk attacks. I've never had a chicken get through this netting, fly over it, fly through it. So it's just a thought. But my main point I want to hit about the pecking order, if you don't have any roosters in your existing flock, which I don't at the moment, and you just have hens, of course, if you do have a rooster, the rooster's probably going to be the dominant chicken of them all, unless you have a real gangster hen for whatever reason. So the rooster's probably going to be the most dominant. Just remember that. And then your older hens will tend to stick together because they've already created their order. So they're not going to, the ones that you've had in there for a while, they'll almost team up with each other. They won't get pecked at. So it is a pecking order, yes, because there's always a more dominant hen, but it's not like it's a huge difference between the top hen next to the next hen. It's almost negligible. When these hens do start pecking at each other, I want whoever's watching this to understand something. It is natural. When they're confined in a space like this, they are going to peck at each other. They're going to run at each other. They'll run away. They'll get over it. I promise. It might take some time. You might be worried now, but they will get over it. If your chicken is losing feathers, you know, down her back here, and you're worried about that, the best advice I can give you is maybe she's too small, or maybe your flock is too big for her to get away. She can't even run away. If the hen is too small and you think that might be the problem, I'd separate the hen, keep her until she comes of age, and because you don't really want her to get bullied to death. That's not fun for the chickens. There she is. You see how they kind of walk away from her? They're learning that, you know, as time goes on, and she'll peck a little bit less, and they'll run a little bit more until eventually they'll just become. It'll reach this turning point where they'll all get along and they'll all run as one. But right now, the older hens kind of stick together, and the younger hens, they sort of stick together. But then now they've been in here about a week now, or 6 days maybe. So all in all, pecking order is natural. Don't let it bother you so bad. I know you hate to see your little hen getting picked at because it's your favorite little hen, but it's something it's going to happen. They'll be okay as long as you watch, you know, use common sense. If you sense something's wrong, separate them. If you sense something is going bad, you know, move the chicken away. Monitor them, you know, sort of tell them to, I was going to say you could tell them to stop pecking at each other and run up and kind of make them go away, but that's not going to do a whole lot. You can try if you want to. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been telling the hens, stop picking on the little hens. They hadn't stopped yet. So now, I don't know if that does anything, but you could try it. But yeah, and it's almost Christmas time. It is Christmas Eve here in Hall's homestead, and we are getting ready for a 70-degree Christmas. So I won't have to be putting the hens up for a white Christmas this year. Actually, that's something I never really had to worry about, is snow with chickens. I don't know how I went from the pecking order to snow with chickens. I'm sorry, guys. You get more than you ask for when you come to this channel. So please, before you leave, hit that like button. And please subscribe to my channel. Whenever you hit the like button, you know, it helps me get views, helps people to spread the word. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. I'll talk back to you. I'm a social person. That's why I'm gonna have a YouTube. So, Merry Christmas. If you're watching this for Christmas, if you're watching this in the springtime, Merry Christmas anyway. You know, it'll be here eventually. Thanks, guys. Take care.